I'm not going to sit here for my high horse and be like, all you parents are crazy. Like, I've been the crazy guy. Like, I'm hand up.
We're all in this club.
We are creating 1 million one-sport kids.
Honestly, I feel like this could be like a 3-part series.
Well, we're going to make him the czar. PC was on a team where he wasn't scoring much, and I was like, I don't know. You got a lot of Penn points today.
Yeah, we get older every day. Got more wrinkles, that's okay. Yeah, we're laughing when we age. Life is like a comedy stage. And that's why we got laugh lines.
Hey everybody, I'm Kim Holderness.
And I'm Penn Holderness, and I'm super pumped about laugh lines. Very, very pumped about laugh lines.
Okay, first off, if you ever had to like have a quarter just in case that collect call to your parents to say, come pick me up by the Arby's didn't go through, you're home. We are your people. We remember that too.
Yes, and you know, it's anytime I see like there's no phone booths left, but the remnant of a phone booth. It's just the booth and the machines.
It's like an artifact.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll be in museums one day?
Phone booths?
Yeah.
They should be.
I will say it is incredibly offensive to have an 18-year-old daughter because she tried on my prom dress and she's like, ooh, look, it's vintage.
We're there now.
It is deeply offensive.
It's up there with like turning on classic rock stations and hearing Pearl Jam and you're like, girlfriend?
Girl?
Did I use that right? No.
I mean, it's fine. Okay.
Just
Anyway,
getting things wrong.
as a reminder, I'm so excited. Our children's book, All You Can Be With ADHD, is coming out so soon. You can pre-order. Go to allyoucanbewithadhd.com to find out about that. And if we're coming to your town on our little book tour, we're going to be doing some school events too, which I think is going to be my favorite part.
This is all happening so quickly.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you. And I can't believe I'm even saying it happens quickly because in our world, we make a video and it comes out 2 days later. But in publishing terms, we started working on this project early this year and it's coming out very, very soon. And that doesn't happen very often. So like props to our publishers for this. But we had a lot of parents saying we need a kid's version of ADHD is awesome. These kids need this book in their hands so they can understand that like life is going to be totally okay. And in some cases, extraordinary if you have ADHD.
I will say though, I've pre-ordered like 10.
Why?
I know. I just feel like I should buy my own book, but I have them earmarked for girlfriends who are recently diagnosed. Like I'm going to give them to
adults
to like my 50-year-old friends because they were just diagnosed after their kids were diagnosed and they're lost too. Like everybody talks about, not everybody, but there's a lot of attention paid on accommodations for children. And they, as adults, it's really hard to kind of figure that out if you're new to it.
Yep.
So,
and the kids book will be a little easier for them to read
than
the actual adult book. Is that what you're going with here?
It's a new entree. It's like it's a pep talk. Yeah. It is like a rhyming pep talk. And then you can get into the.
Okay. So you're thinking about like an the places you'll go sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like that was given to every person who ever graduated from high school.
So
did you get one of those when you graduated from high school?
Everybody did.
Yeah.
Everybody did. Okay. So today, Penn is wearing his Panthers Pride shirt. We are the most devoted Carolina Panthers fans.
We might be the only ones.
We may be the only ones. Our sweet son has a Substack where he writes, and we'll link that if you want to follow it. It's heavy on sports and reviews of rap music, but he is so devoted. He really thinks every year the Panthers have a shot for the Super Bowl. And I love that about him. But today, a very special guest, we have Greg Olsen on the podcast.
Greg Olsen is, if you had to put the Mount Rushmore of Carolina Panthers up there, if you had to put 4 guys, I think most people are putting Greg Olsen on that Mount Rushmore. He was a spectacularly good tight end for Carolina. And that's not even the most impressive part about him. He has done a ton of charity work. He had a son with a heart issue and raised a ton of money for that. He left football, retired, and started a broadcasting career where, in my opinion, he's the best football color guy. I want to talk to him about this too. His main top job at Fox, it got taken away from him because Tom Brady came in. Of course, it's like, Tom Brady, you get the main spot. Greg's better than Tom at this. They're friends. But
do you think Tom's going to be mad if he sees our podcast and hears you say that?
Greg, I mean, Tom's great too.
Yeah.
If Tom sees our podcast, we have a whole new situation.
Okay.
Like, what is Tom Brady doing watching our podcast?
Really what we're talking about today, I will say this because I love the Carolina Panthers. I don't know all the sports words and names, but I know that I knew his name. Absolutely knew Greg Olsen. Big fan of Greg Olsen because as a mom of what he's doing for youth sports. So if you've got a kid that's thinking about youth sports and youth sports, this is going to be an amazing conversation.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I think he may be aware of some of the videos that we've made about youth sports. There's one of them we made called the 6 stages of youth sports. Maybe we should, I don't know. Should we watch that one?
Let's not alter our life to accommodate youth sports.
This will be fun.
It's always good to know what it's like to be part of a team.
Just for fun.
Low pressure.
They are so cute.
Wait, is he good?
I mean, all parents must say this, but I think he may be good.
He's good, right?
I think so.
Is he special?
Our kid is obviously special. I mean, our kid and no one else.
He's the best one out there. My judgment isn't clouded at all by the fact that he's my son.
He's way too good for this rec league.
This video touched some nerves in our community, I think in a yeah, that's us way and also in a ha-ha way. And we got a great voicemail on the laugh line about this.
Laugh Line. It's the part of the show where everyone will find Laugh Line. But you call us up and you tell us what's on your mind.
Hey guys, my wife Stephanie and I love your stuff. We're from Peoria, Arizona, and you guys make us laugh all the time. One of our favorites is when your kid gets into competitive sports and maybe our kid is special. We've lived it, and so you guys are great. Keep up the great work.
As you've seen in the clip, heard in the clip, in this voicemail, we did the 6 stages, right? And the first stage is beautiful ignorance.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun way to spend a Saturday. Go kick a ball. That'll be fun.
If they're picking clovers,
yeah.
totally fine. Hey, good job picking clovers, buddy.
Yes. And then, stage 2, it's just for fun. It'll be really good to be part of a team, learn some life lessons, but no consequences. And
then comes the question, is our kid special? Like one thing. All it takes is one thing.
They make one good play.
Yeah, one good play.
And every single parent is at stage 3, which is competitive curious. I remember PC, he was 8, and he had a game where he made 8 3-pointers or something like that.
That was a great game.
And so he made 8 of them.
He made 8 3-pointers. Now, to be fair, it was one of those 8-foot goals, and it was
I think the hoop was this
big. It was the same size hoop, but it was hung on top of another basketball goal. So it was very friendly. All it had to do is touch the rim, and it would just kind of go boop, and just sort of. But I mean, a lot of those were going through the middle of the net. He was on fire.
So, but he was he 7? He was
7
tiny.
or 8. He was young.
He was young. He was 7 or 8, and we're like, oh my God,
is our kid
is special. But no, really, I think it was like those things. Like it was like a drain. Like you just needed to get close, and it would go in. And and he played very well. He played very well, but he didn't. He was fine just hanging out on Saturdays, but then immediately stage 4, you drop everything. You lean way too far in.
You join a travel team.
That's what you go to clinics. There's special gear, and there's
private coaches.
There's coaching. Yep. For both of our kids, I will admit, we went way too far.
To be fair, we did the exact same thing with Lola around tennis. She had one good tournament, and we were like, oh.
She's special. But no, I will say the difference is Lola drove that.
Fair.
She was obsessed.
Yeah.
I regret not seeing how it maybe got to be too, it was too much. And we as parents should have said, no, you can't go to a tournament every weekend.
You mean for Lola?
Yeah, for Lola. Whereas PC,
See, you and I are we're aligned on 99.9% of this. I think that Lola definitely got burnt out from youth sports, but the rest of the byproducts were so positive that I don't regret it. It taught her resilience. It taught her character. I think it was a big reason she got into college, even though she's not going to college to play tennis, because it forced her into a schedule. Did she have fun?
Not the end.
It didn't seem like it, but the fact that she seemed so driven and she wanted to do it, and the fact that it was self-driven, I think that was the first time she became a self-advocate and became a self-starter. And it's one of the reasons she got to go to a great school.
There's a stage 5, which is schedule shock.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Which is, I mean, it when you really lean in, I mean, it's a lot, and we've only ever done that. But I'm like, what are free weekends? What does that mean? And then stage 6, you just totally forget about your kids and they don't want to do it at all. And you're like, no, we have coaches scheduled, whatever. I think we've recovered. I don't think we ever got like that totally, that we were doing stuff without our kids in mind. But I think I wonder if Lola could have learned these very valuable life skills, because I do agree. She's a leader. She's a badass. She's been through so many tennis tie breaks with state championships on the line. Like, it doesn't even faze her to go stand up in front of a class or, whatever. So, but I'm wondering if she could have learned those life lessons on a softer path. Maybe.
I think, like, no one has a perfect journey through this, I don't think. When we talked to Greg about this, I mean, he had Malcolm Gladwell on the podcast.
On his podcast,
saying that like 0.02% of people who want this as their goal do not, like, that's how many accomplish their goal.
Yeah.
So 99.98% do not get to the goal that they make for themselves as an athlete. So imagine like that. And so the problem for me is that the economy of youth sports is essentially giving people the belief that it's a much higher percentage. The number of people who are on travel teams that are essentially built or originally built only for people who are expected to get college scholarships,
right,
is now for anyone, and seems to have the same messaging. So it feels a little greedy to me, and it feels a little misleading to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I heard about investment firms and venture capital. I don't even know how to say the words, but when I heard about investment firms investing in basically factories where they have specialized training for kids in youth sports, I immediately thought, I'm like, oh, this is too much.
Yeah.
But I do think the kid that's going, we go to these tournaments. My son's great. He's a great basketball player. He's wonderful. But then you see the kids that are, I was like, oh God, what's his name? I'm going to have to like remember that kid. Like I'm saying, I got to see him play when he was 13 because they're so good.
But then you also see like 8 of those kids in one day. Like they're all over the place. So look, I want to ask Greg about this because he is on both sides, right? He was part of that 0.02%. He's a Hall of Famer, or he's going to be an NFL Hall of Famer. But he's also raising kids who are going through the youth sports world right now. So he's got both perspectives. Also, after the interview, top 5 ways I would fix youth sports.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Yeah.
Okay. Very excited. Greg Olsen is here, and Greg Olsen is a former NFL All-Pro tight end, award-winning broadcaster, and the founder of Youth Inc., a media platform and podcast dedicated to reimagining youth sports in America. After 14 seasons in the NFL and a standout career with the Chicago Bears, Carolina Panthers, and Seattle Seahawks, Greg transitioned to the broadcast booth, where he quickly earned acclaim as one of the best new voices in football.
He's been a color commentator and analyst for NFL on Fox. He was the best one. Netflix and the NFL Network, including Super Bowl Livy. That's going to be 57. Super Bowl. Can you just put the number up? We're just getting high enough that it's tough for me to figure this out. Super Bowl 57. Off the field, he's a passionate advocate for kids, parents, and coaches, navigating the highs and lows of youth athletics, drawing from both his professional experience and his role as a father of 3.
Welcome to the show, Greg Olsen.
How we doing, guys? It's good to be here.
We are very excited. I wanted you to know that my 15-year-old son desperately wanted to skip school today to come talk to you. So
why is he in school? We don't need school.
See, that's a good start for our talk about youth sports.
We're recording. No, well, sorry he wasn't here, but please tell him I said hi.
I will.
We will, and I've got a question and a comment from him later on because he wanted to say some stuff. So
okay,
love it.
Obviously, famous as a football player, famous as a commentator, and your work post football. I will say, as a mom, I really love the work you're doing with Youth Inc. So can you talk to us how you kind of redirected your attention to this and why it was so important?
Yeah, so I kind of joke that it's been like a life's project for me. So I grew up in New Jersey. Both my parents were school teachers. My father was our high school football coach. He coached for 40 years. It's all we ever knew. It's all he ever did. So we grew up in the stereotypical football household, all boys. And I had two brothers. We all played for my dad at the local public high school. And so I grew up from the time I was a little boy. I was in locker rooms, going to summer camps, sleeping on the floor in dorms. That was our summer vacation. It's all I ever knew. And then obviously I was able to make a career and play and do all that. And then on the backside of retirement, my kids were getting older. I have 3 kids, 2 boys and a daughter. And, I found myself coaching their T-ball teams and coaching their interfaith basketball leagues and all the different things. But then as they got older, it got less about like rec and introduction fun, and it got more serious and it got more competitive and it got more where there's a lot of decisions to make. And my wife and I would be laying in bed at night and we'd be like, if we don't get it, someone who's lived their entire life in this world, it's the only thing that I know is the world of sports. There must be so many other people out there right now struggling with what is the correct path, what is the correct practice. And I'm going to go out and find those conversations. And that was really the inspiration behind You Think and the journey that we're on to uncover the good, the bad, the in-between, all aspects of youth sports as it is in its current, its kind of current positioning. And we've had a blast doing it. I've learned probably more than our listeners. And I've tried to impact when I go coach a kid's team and I go, as a parent, as a dad, some of the things that I've learned, I've really tried to implement into sometimes better than others, but there's just things that I've tried to implement with my sons and daughter and their respective teams.
What concerns you the most about the general landscape of youth sports? Kim and I have been in it now for 15 years or so since our kids started playing. Yeah. We've noticed some pretty interesting things that we didn't expect to find. A lot of times it's based on like not the behavior of the kids, but the behavior of the parents. I'm wondering what concerns you?
Well, the adults are always the issue, right? I mean, let's be honest. There's 3 components to the youth sports experience. There's the parents, the coach, and the athlete. Traditionally, the athlete is not the issue. Typically, the athlete's not causing problems. They're kids. They want to play. They want to compete. And again, I want to be clear, like it's so easy to point out all the warts and all the things that we wish were better. There's also so much incredible lessons and so many incredible experiences and so many incredible aspects of the youth sports landscape. But to answer your question, there's many, but I think the biggest thing that I see is we have just expedited the timeline of development. And there's multiple areas of development, right? There's the skill of the sport, like learning how to throw, catch, run, tackle, swing a baseball bat, hit a hockey stick, kick, whatever sport you're playing. There is an expedited development in the actual skill of the sport, good and bad. There is the expedited maturity that we're asking of these kids to be able to, have the mental health, the mental strength, the ability to like handle super pressure moments at younger and younger ages, right? So what I mean by expediting is what used to not take place until you were probably a varsity athlete in high school. And then beyond that, if you were lucky enough to go play in college, was it became professionalized, right? It became year round. It became very serious. You were training, you were doing off-season workouts, you were doing individual skill development. There was pressure, there was cause and effect, wins and losses. And come high school, like that's standard. Like high school sports should be competitive and it should be, it should be a big deal. Like that's healthy for these kids at that age to understand investment and failure and all those things. But what we've done is because we've professionalized it so young, we have skipped all the steps of actually finding out what kids are good at. We've skipped the steps of testing a lot of different sports and being seasonal athletes, because in order to keep up now in the current environment at a high level, you can't go from the basketball gym to the baseball field to summer at the beach and then show up for football practice in August and do that year round like I did as a kid. Those days are over. You're not going to be good enough to keep up with the kid who's been doing 12 months a year of basketball training or 12 months a year of batting lessons. It's very, very hard. So we're asking these kids to pick sports earlier. We're not giving kids the runway to actually learn what they like and how to be good at it, how to deal with failure, how to deal with ups and downs because the goal was always to be really good at 17. Now the goal is to be really good at 10 and 11, because if you haven't picked your sport by 11, oh man, you're not going to make it. So we've just moved the timeline so much earlier and earlier with every given season that we don't give kids a chance to grow. We don't give kids a chance to develop. We don't give kids a chance to fail. We don't give kids a chance to even learn what the heck they want to do. And I just feel so strongly that it's the complete opposite of what we should be, the environment in which we should be creating. But I just don't know how we kind of put
Unravel
the toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah. So that's my question. I 100% believe and support that kids should play. They should differentiate. They should find out what they like. They should try different things. But if my kid doesn't play year-round basketball, he wouldn't have even made a middle school team. That's how.
Correct.
Yeah. So how do you, if your kid wants to have a sports experience, how do you opt out of it? How do you just trust?
It's a great question. And again, I don't know if anyone pretends to have the answers. What's amazing is every you talk to, whether it's your friend at dinner or on podcasts or professionals and people that study this for a living and sociologists and psychologists, everyone across the spectrum says the exact same thing. Everybody wants the same thing. Everyone wants their kids to do multiple sports. Everyone wants their kids to be well-rounded and have that wide berth. And then as they approach the end of high school, especially for kids that are a little bit better or more gifted, there's a little bit more of a specialization that's just natural as they anticipate going to the next step of college. But what you just said is the crux of the entire argument. People are doing things that they don't really want to do. They don't in their heart believe it's in their kids' best interest, but they're just surviving.
They have to.
Right? It's just survival. Do you want your kid to make the middle school basketball team or not? And for the really high level athletes, the super, super gifted kids, if they don't play basketball year round and maybe their skill is not up to par of the other kids, they'll still be able to walk into the gym after football season or whatever fall sport they play, and they'll be able to just run around the gym and be a great athlete and they'll make the team. But what people don't consider is kids are better now younger, right? The access to skill development, the access to trainers, the way these kids lift weights, speed coaches, what kids are doing now in middle school used to not happen until mostly varsity sports. At some high schools, it wasn't even a part of that. You weren't getting it until college. These kids are now doing it in 5th and 6th grade. They have year-round personal trainers, skill development, the way they eat, the way they train. Like, it is in a different world. We're creating earlier, more talented athletes. But what the studies are showing is the athletes are not as good down the road. We're losing all of the foundational baseline macro athletic development stages to go super micro, super skill oriented, do it 1,000 times and you're going to be a good hitter. You're going to be a good baseball player. You're going to be able to field and throw or whatever skill is. But what they're finding is the kids are better at 12, but they're not better at 20.
Oh.
Because they've missed all of these early years of gross, macro, big, high level athletic fundamental development. Different skill sets, again, the skill set mentally to play football, play after play after play, very fast pace compared to basketball, which is in ebbs and flows. You go from offense to defense in seconds, to baseball. Those take 3 very different brain positionings, right? They take very different patience, ability to, they're just completely different sports. The kids who play them are completely wired, completely different. Those are great experiences for young kids as their wiring and their brains and their neurosystems are developing as young, just adolescent boys and girls. Like, we're skipping all of that. Yeah. And then, of course, there's the physical elements that each sport require that when you combine them, they develop very well-rounded physical athletes that serve you well post-puberty. So, I mean, I could go on and on about all of this, but it's just everything comes back to we've sped the timeline up. Instead of this being a race to 18, and then we'll let college sort itself out from there, we've moved the finish line to 12 years old. Yeah. And it's just like these kids haven't even hit puberty yet. They've never had a boyfriend or a girlfriend. They've never been to a high school party. Like, They don't even know what the real world looks like, and we need them to make real life decisions for the next 20 years of their life.
We do have friends that had never went to prom because they had tournaments.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Go to prom.
Come on.
I want to
prom.
Listen, you are not going to find a more competitive about how we approach like sports, and my whole life has been sports, and you are never going to find a more competitive guy in even high school sports and below. If my kid ever for a minute thought he was going to miss high school prom, homecoming, whatever, graduation, for a baseball tournament, a basketball tournament, a showcase, there is zero chance. You never. I don't even love kids now that go to college early and they enroll in January of their senior year in high school. Like, I look back from January to June of my senior year in high school was like the best 4 years of your entire high school journey. You're 18, You got your license, you got your buddies, you're at prom, you're excited to go to college. All that hard stuff is behind you. I don't know, but again, what are we doing? We're moving everything up. Everything has to happen earlier. Instead of college being at the end of high school, it's at the end of 3.5 years of high school. Soon it'll be 3 years, and kids will go at 16, and it's just exhausting.
I want to go back to something that you said earlier about, like, is our kid enjoying themselves? Right. It's an important question. So I'm listening to your pod with Malcolm Gladwell yesterday while I'm watching my son. Like, he just joined an ultimate Frisbee team.
So cool.
And he'd never tried it before.
Yeah.
He's having so much fun. He looks, I find myself being like, oh, he looks pretty good. I'm like, shut up, Penn. Like, don't.
That's not about him being good.
Let's make sure he's just having fun, and I'm not going to like over
He was sending me videos from the car.
Like, he's really good.
I'm like, babe, stop it. He doesn't need to be good at this.
We're all guilty of that.
Yeah, he was having fun. But then Malcolm was talking about kind of how he likes to look carefully at a kid and find a moment. And for him, it's like distance running. Like, if you have to enjoy this certain type of euphoria, and there's a certain type of person who loves that, and they're going to become a runner, right? As a parent, have you been, even though you are one of the greatest tight ends of all time, are you able to compartmentalize like the skill level with like whether or not your kids are having fun? And how do you look out for that when it comes to sports?
It's hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I haven't gotten caught up in that very exact thing you're describing. My daughter went out for track. She's a seventh grader now. So last year as a sixth grader in the winter, the track coach encouraged her to come out for the winter track team.
Yeah.
She couldn't compete in any of the events or anything, but it was just for the training. And it was a couple of days a week after school, and they got a really good track program at our kids' school. So she went out and she did it. And I found myself after like 2 or 3 practices, I'm like, well, how do we get ready to run a hurdles event? Like, what's a really good hurdles time? How far do we have to jump to be one of the better sixth graders in the air? Like,
sixth grader. Yeah.
It's right. Like I've been there. So like, I'm not going to sit here for my high horse and be like, all you parents are crazy. Like, I've been the crazy guy. Like, I'm hand up, honest Abe.
We're all in this club.
Yeah. Do you say, like, if your kids are going to play something and they say they want to be good at it, then you're like, yes, let's be good at it. So is the parent driving this, or does the kid have to drive all this?
Oh, the kid has to drive. If you're getting into a fight every time you're trying to tell your kid, hey, you got to make sure you put your work in. Hey, make sure you guys it's just not going to work. They're not going to have success. There's going to be frustration. You're going to be giving a ton of time and energy to something that's not being met by them. It has to 100% be kid driven. So for example, my 7th grade son has never played a down of football. Never growing up, didn't play Pop Warner, never played a down of football. No problem. He was hellbent on playing on the middle school football team that we coach at our local high school. And he has an older brother who's an 8th grader who's been playing. He's played, this is his 4th year, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. He's played since he was young. But TJ never did. And he was like hellbent. He's like, I'm going to play. I'm going to play. I'm going to play. And I'm like, okay, like, we have summer workouts. We're going to leave the house at 7:30. You got to be up. You got to be dressed. You got to be ready. If you show me that you're willing to do all the things, you don't just show up on game day in front of your friends and be on the football team. Like, if you're willing to do all of this work all summer, I'd love you to play football, and we'll teach you and we'll coach you. I don't care how good you are. You've never even put a helmet on. Hasn't missed a workout. He's up on time. He's not a star player. He's not our star running back. He'll play as a young kid and mix himself in there every now and then. But like, that's not the point. Like, he showed the initiative that he wanted to play. He's done all the things leading up to it that are deserving to be on the team. And whether he's good or bad at it or not is irrelevant. That is kid living, kid driven. If I'm like, TJ, you're playing football come hell or high water, and I'm dragging you out of bed every single morning for summer workouts, it's just not sustainable. It's just not going to work.
Mm-hmm. And is it from the position where you sit as a parent and as a coach, do you see a lot of that? A lot of parents dragging their kids out and forcing them into it?
Yes and no. I think sometimes parents think their kids want it more than they do. I think what I see more often is kids think they want it more than they do. And again, I think that's part of just being young, right? Like, I'm looking at it through like a 40-year-old who's lived his whole life in like super high competitive environments where like there's a cause and effect to everything you do. Now, again, separate aside here, but like outcome-based sports should be like end of varsity sports, college for sure, and professional levels for sure. It's ends justify the means. It's all outcome driven. If you're not good enough, you're going to be replaced. That's it. That's youth sports nowadays, which is the exact opposite of what it should be. Like, that's the part I probably argue against the most, is instead of getting the shortstop better, we're just going to replace him with a new kid next week and move on.
Yeah.
Instead of that's the environment that we're living in now. It is all outcome based instead of being developmentally based, and let the outcome stuff come later. Mm-hmm. But to finish, to your point, what I see now is these kids, they see social media. They see kids getting young scholarship offers. They see the kid down the street going to play at North Carolina. They see the Little League World Series on TV. They see all of this young athletic success, and they all want it. That's just human nature. Go, oh my God, I'm 12. I should do that. They have no idea. The kids they're seeing have all that success. They have no idea what goes in behind the scenes for that kid to be in that position. So they think they want it. And then when you show them like, okay, this is really what's going on underneath the water, they're like, ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah. That seems like a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. There's no other way to do it.
So sometimes people do all that work and they still don't accomplish what their goal is, right? Like Malcolm said, 0.02% of people actually accomplish like their professional goals of playing, sports professionally. Greg, I want to tell you a story about me and my son, and then I'm going to lay out for you to tell us your personal take on this, because I think that you are one of the best examples of dealing with failure, which is crazy because you're one of the best ever. First of all, I think you're the best color commentator I've ever seen on television. I thought you were amazing in the Super Bowl. I still think you're great. Anytime you're calling a game, I turn the volume up, and when it's some other people, I turn the volume down, or I go to the red zone. Like I just move on.
I appreciate it.
But
Thank you.
But there was a moment where Fox paid Tom Brady, friend of yours, I think of like $250 million to come on Fox. Yeah, it was a ton of money, and so they had to put him in the top A slot of whatever it was for Fox, which means Greg starts calling different games. And I heard you talk about this on, I think it was in the Dan Le Batard show, and PC was in the car with me. That's my son. When you talked about like how that was tough on you, and then what your theory was on getting back to work and building your team back up. And that still sticks with him, because my son, he has ADHD just like me. He has trouble with self-talk. He has trouble with rejection, and hearing the way that you dealt with that meant a lot to him.
Well, I appreciate that. And that warms my heart to hear that. Well, I think there's a lot to unpack there. First and foremost, I'll just say what we talk about at home. Like, now I'm just as a dad. I'm not a coach. I'm not with my middle school team. I'm just parenting 3 children. That's my ultimate responsibility, right? We talk a lot about goal setting can be very tricky. I'm not necessarily a huge believer in goal setting for a couple of reasons. Number one, the issue with goal setting is once you reach the goal, the human instinct is, I made it. I reached whether the goal was to make this team, to make varsity sports, to get a new contract, to get drafted, to get a scholarship, to whatever the goal is. I always say to my kids, okay, so you reached the goal, then what? If the goal was the outcome, if the goal was the end all and you reach it, it doesn't stop. Like it's not over. You make the varsity baseball team as a sophomore. That was your goal. Well, do you stop doing all your batting lessons? Do you stop doing all your extra T work? Do you start, does it stop or do you just keep going? Well, yeah, everyone would say, oh, you keep going. I say, well, what was the purpose of the goal? You're going to work. Whether you made the team or not, the work never stops. Whether you get the college scholarship or not, the work should never stop. So goal setting to me becomes a little tricky. Like, we talk about processes. What can you do on a daily, weekly, and then larger macro dosing of habit forming as often and as able as humanly possible, right? Like, every day, every action or thought is a positive habit being formed or a negative habit being formed. The negative ones have to eventually be broken and reestablished, which just adds another complex layer to it. But just work on the work. If your goal is to make the varsity baseball team as a sophomore and you don't make it, just keep going. Just keep going. And maybe you never make it. And I say to my kids all the time, you never reach the goal. Are you a failure? And they would all go, yeah, I failed. And I say, only if you didn't do all the work that required to achieve it. If you did everything in your power to do it and it just wasn't meant to be, you're not a failure, because the outcome is we put too much emphasis on the outcome. So that is the exact same approach that I took to the example you just gave. Like, my goal was to call Super Bowls. My goal was to be an A broadcaster. And for 2 years, I did that. And my weekly prep, what I did Monday through Friday, the way I studied film, the way I formulated my notes, the time I put into laying out storylines and learning, just different ways to weave in and out of the game, some interesting thoughts and whatnot. I had that taken away. I no longer was going to call postseason games and Super Bowls. Out of my hands, unique situation. What were my options? If my goal was to call A games only, instead of my goal is to be really good at the job.
Yeah.
And if I'm calling a game at 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, or at no o'clock, if my goal was to just be as good as I could be, the environment in which I operated in is irrelevant. It means nothing. I'm not going to work harder for the Super Bowl than I will for week 1. And that example that's my life. Like, that's just the only way that I know. So I prepare now to call games on the B crew, no different than I did the weeks leading up to the Super Bowl. It never changes. The teams I call, the time, the audience size, the perception of significance of the game, it doesn't matter. The second you start worrying about all of that, I stop studying, I stop preparing, I start looking at everybody else around the industry. And then when you tune into my game, you go, Olsen's not as good as he used to be. He's not the same. It's not as interesting.
Well, you're a favorite in our house. I will say that. And as somebody who's a casual athlete, I don't know the difference between A team, B. I don't know the difference of it. I just know that my guys will turn the volume up when you're talking.
Well, thank you.
And other than that, he turns it down.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. But no, I think that in our house, so I was a dancer, so I don't really so I never played a sport, but when Penn is still, like, he plays tennis and pickleball and he's on a volleyball league, I've made it so if he has a bad match or there's a not desirable outcome, I'm like, you have to come and tell the kids. You have to say, like, I worked really hard. I'm disappointed. That sucks that it happened. Okay, what's for dinner? Like, you have to show them getting over that. And I think you showed a really good example to your kids and to mine of you got to keep working and you got to get over it.
I mean, I'm still pissed as a viewer.
Listen, please. It takes me like 2 days to get over. Trust me. From in the world of like sport, like teams that I coach or like a tennis, it's 24 hours. I'm like mad. Like and it ruins my day. So the key is that has to be in short time frame.
Yes.
It can't last 3 weeks.
Right.
You have your moment, your frustration, get it out. And then we got to move on and we got to get back to the next practice, back to the next game, back to the ball machine, whatever it is. And like, I always say to my kids, if you're mad, you lost and you're mad, you got beat, go get better.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't care that you lost, that's also a sign. That like,
and if you're not going to go get better, then you really don't care that much. Then we shouldn't be mad. We should go for ice cream.
yeah.
Who cares?
I love some ice cream.
Yeah.
Everyone loves ice cream.
Yeah. If you,
or especially after you win.
Oh yeah. That's the best.
Yeah. So Greg, if there was an organization called the Youth Sports Organization of the World, which actually could be like Sports Inc., kind of Youth Sports Inc. or whatever, and you were the commissioner, and you could give one edict to all of those who are putting on, coaching, and presenting youth sports, like let's say between the ages of 0 and 14, right? Like before you get to high school, like you were in charge of that league. Are there a couple of laws, edicts that you would put out like instantly that would make it a more wholesome, healthy, and long-term more successful venture?
Oh man. Oh, I'm like the youth sports czar. I love that.
You're the czar.
You should pitch that.
Yeah.
So I consider youth sports like high school and down.
Yep.
Everything above that is professional sports in my mind. So high school, I would start in high school, mandatory. If you are, not every kid doesn't know it. You don't have to be an athlete, but if you are an athlete, you have to be rostered on 2 sports.
Oh,
love it.
Now you dance outside of the school, you do gymnastics and your school doesn't offer it. Like I know there are some kids that are athletes. I consider dancing a sport. The girls that I know that are friends with my daughter, I'll say this about dancing. I'm a big on a side guy.
Yeah.
My daughter's girlfriends that are dancers, the time, energy, commitment, and work ethic compared to the boys who are playing like traditional stick and ball sports, like American sports, like we all their effort and work ethic and commitment to gymnastics makes what the boys do look like tiddlywinks.
Yes, true. You're absolutely true.
So anyone who thinks their boys are being overworked because their coach called an extra practice one day, sign your kid up for gymnastics or dance or one of those sports and go see what those girls do every day in the gym. And you'll never complain about how hard practice was ever again, or how hard the coach was, or how many hours we spent. But that's a separate conversation. I would make all high school athletes have to play 2 sports.
Love it.
And you don't have to be the best player. You have to experience a different program, take a break from your current sport so that you can dive into something else. All 4 years of high school, I played a sport every single season. So even after I committed to go play college football at Notre Dame, I was on the high school basketball team. What I loved about high school basketball in the winter, and then like even as a senior, I ran track and field all 4 years, but as a senior in track and field, when I walked onto the basketball court, it was a very different world for me than what football was. Football was everything. It was what I trained for. It's what I was being recruited for. It was every conversation, every news article, everything. When I was a basketball player, like I didn't touch that basketball until the day football ended. So like there was a different level of experience. There was no pressure to go score 40 points. Like I was one of the guys.
Yeah.
I was no better a basketball player than anybody else on my team. That wasn't the case for me in football. Like the expectation of football is like, you have to be the man in everything you do. And there's like a pressure to that at 17 years old.
Yeah.
I loved my non-major sport because it was a break. It was a breath of fresh air. It was just go be with one of the guys. Every win and loss is not the end of the world. We were going to lose basketball games in high school. It didn't really matter. Don't get me wrong. We competed hard and we wanted to win, but like we lost a football game. The world was coming to an end.
Yeah.
It was just different. So that would be my first rule is if you're going to play one, you got to play two.
Okay. Love that.
At the younger levels, before we get into school sports, it's a little bit harder to control. Right. So again, we're saying I have all the powers of the universe.
Yes.
Here.
You're the czar.
You're czar.
I would make it that no kid, no sports season can run, like no sanctioned sports season can run events outside of their traditional calendar season. I can't run basketball tournaments outside of the months of, I don't call it October to March. So it's a longer season. It goes a little bit into spring, a little bit into early fall, late fall. That's only time in the entire calendar year you can run sanctioned event driven. Now, you want to do Basketball, you want to practice, you want to do your own skills training, great. Baseball, it runs on a calendar from, I know in the South we have a different baseball season than up north, but let's say the baseball season runs from March to July.
Okay.
That's it. You cannot hold tournaments from August through February.
I love this.
And just
so
make
much.
the seasons.
Yes. I think this would solve so many problems because your baseball playing kid can still go out and hit and train and do whatever they want to do if they truly are.
Of course.
Yeah. But then and then honestly, our baseball friends, I'm so glad my kids, we never even introduced it as an option, quite honestly, because they don't have a summer. They're traveling all those families.
Yeah, we don't have a summer.
We didn't have a summer because of basketball that I think as a team decided to end that mid-July. So we had like a month of a summer. Mm-hmm. But other than that, like you were tied to a tournament.
To your point though, it's so true because at our school, we have a really good baseball program and some of the best athletes in our school are baseball players, but their baseball goes all summer into the fall training, fall ball, fall this, showcases. So they don't come out for the football team because in football is a summer sport. All the work leading up to the fall is done in the summer. So there's a huge conflict and we are creating 1 million one-sport kids.
Honestly, I feel like this could be like a 3-part series.
Well, we're going to make him the czar.
You are the youth sports czar. Anything else? I mean, tell us about you think? What do you have coming up? How can we support you? What do you want people to know?
Yeah, I think it's multifaceted. I think obviously we're excited about a lot of the content that we're given, right? So people are familiar with the last couple episodes. So our first episode when we relaunched last week was with Tom Brady. Obviously, everyone knows who that is. You referenced him early. He's become a good friend of mine. He was kind enough to be kind of our big kickoff. And his story is super fascinating. Like, of course, everyone knows the Super Bowls and all that. But like, here's a kid that was an 0-7. He was on an 0-7 freshman team and was the backup quarterback as a freshman.
Yep.
In today's day and age, that kid quit.
Yeah.
In that day and age, a coach is saying, hey, you're not a football player. Come play only basketball with me or baseball or whatever. He was at Michigan and was the backup quarterback. In today's day and age, he transfers. Mm-hmm. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. He eventually becomes the starter, 6th round pick. And obviously we know the rest is history. So really cool perspective, his journey, his story, now him as a father of girls, boys. He was great. You mentioned Malcolm Gladwell. He was our second guest, world-renowned thought leader in so many of these different areas. Got Ryan Day coming off the national championship, nice. Ohio State football team. Talking about, what does recruiting look like nowadays? Obviously, the NIL has changed the picture. How do you put the coaching staff together? How do you lead following success? I thought that was one of the interesting things we talked about. It's easy to get back to work when you fail. Mm-hmm. We have a saying with our teams, the greatest preventer of future success is current success. Right? Like you have a bad game, everybody and their mother can come back to practice the next day and like really put their head down and get to work. What happens after you have a great game? Do you practice the same intensity? Again, we're not outcome oriented. Our practice is the same, no matter if I played well or I played poorly. Same thing and again, we can go on and on about all that. So that was a huge conversation with them. Now, how they're going to follow up a national title. CJ Stroud, Missy Franklin. Aside from my interviews, though, we have an entire platform of other really interesting content. Lauren Chamberlain, who's one of the most accomplished women's softball players in history from Oklahoma. She's our girls softball ambassador. Coach Rack, who's like super famous now from the Savannah Bananas. He's our baseball ambassador. He's the one doing all like the backflips, good looking dude. Hit a walk-off, I think grand slam in like Fenway a couple weeks ago in the Bananas game. So John Isner in the tennis world, he's our tennis ambassador. So it's less of a singular podcast hosted by me as much as it is like a youth sports all-encompassing podcast. We have a commerce angle where high schools and travel teams can use us as like their official team shop, fan wear, customize all of their clothes with their high school logos and whatnot. So it's a all-encompassing platform to just try to improve the experience by everybody that they're having in the youth sports world. So we're excited about it. We live it every day. And as you could tell, we love talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, I love this.
The podcast is great. I've loved the ones that I've listened to. As you can see here, we're called Laugh Lines. So we can't get you out of here without talking a little bit about getting older. I heard you say tiddlywinks earlier. I'm like, okay, he's one of us. He said tiddlywinks. Now that you're 40 now, how's your body? How's your brain? Any signs that you're turning 40 yet? You look pretty good, but
well, thank you. Zoom, they say, takes off 10 pounds.
There you go.
I feel good physically, like, my body itself, considering how much football and how much sports I played, I feel good. I'm very active. I'm coaching my team. I don't train in like a traditional format. Like I don't go to the gym and lift weights. I don't go to the gym and run on the treadmill. My activity comes at 3:00 when the kids get out of school. Like in the fall, I'm on the field, setting up bags, demonstrating drills, doing conditioning at the end of practice. And I walk out and I'm drenched, no different than the kids, just actively coaching and engaged and energetic and, yelling across the field. Like that's the only way I know. So I get all of my activity really through like osmosis of just being outside active with the kids in their respective teams.
That counts. Well, we have enjoyed our time with you. You are a legend across the country, obviously, but in this house for sure. So
thank you.
I can't wait for our son to listen.
I know. And do you want to give us like a little bit on the Panthers this year? Like, is there any hope?
Yeah.
Like PC's got some hope.
There's always hope.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about football. NFL football, 32 teams. Now there's false hope.
Right. There is.
I think we're out of the false hope category. Fortunately. Do I think we're going to win the Super Bowl? No.
Oh, so my son says there's a path and he'll list it out for you.
If you ask my 14-year-old kid, maybe these kids are more optimistic than us old men.
They are.
Maybe that's something we can dive into on the next episode. Yes. Optimism.
Greg, thank you so much for your time and your perspective, and really for like what you've done for the sports world and for like moms and dads who need guidance when it comes to this.
Well, we all need guidance. I most of what I've learned, I've stolen from other people, or I've learned because I've done it the wrong way, or because I've come home and not been proud of the way I handled the bad loss or the way I handled a parenting moment. So I'm the first to admit a lot of my lessons, a lot of the things that I now try to preach to other people are like, hey, I didn't do it right the first time through a lot of ways. Like I'm still improving what this looks like as a dad / coach / youth advocate. By no means do I have it all figured out either, but I think it's something worthwhile. I think it's something that we all can improve on. And we have one rule in our house, and this is like my last closing little tidbit, is like the art of learning and the art of continued improvement never ends. And if you just have that approach, at any moment in time, you may never be winning the race, right? If we took a bunch of snapshots at 12, 15, 18, 25, I tell my kids, we don't have an end goal of when we need to win the race. The race never ends. Like just keep improving as a person, keep improving in your sports, keep improving at everything you do. And usually the people that continue to improve the longest end up the furthest ahead. I just don't know what age that'll be. I don't know what stage of your life, but frankly, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Just get to where you can go. And that's just that art that never stops. And, I think we have to remind ourselves of that a lot because we all get caught up in where we are in any moment in time.
That's so hard. This was a blast. Thank you so much. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was awesome.
So real quick reactions. I feel like you were definitely learning some stuff there.
I loved. Can we make this happen? You know why?
Make him the czar?
Well, make them czar. The 2 roster thing and then only doing seasonal tournaments. You know why that won't ever happen?
Go ahead.
Money.
Yep.
Money. These basketball tournaments we go to, love my
You mean the national championships?
Oh my God.
Every weekend?
They have a national championship.
In 12 different cities. There's a world championship and a national championship in 100 cities.
In 100 cities every week. They charge like $50 for parking. I mean, they will never do it. So, but if we can I don't know, but I love that idea. He's great. I'm glad there's somebody like him, taking charge.
Agreed. So I had a list of top 5 things I would change about youth sports, but they're not as good as Greg's. So I think we could skip them.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
All right. Penn's top 5 before. And one of them you actually mentioned without even realizing it. So number 5, heavier enforcement on players yelling at the ref or grandstanding.
Oh, I hate that. I'm like, sir, you're 12. Do not yell at the grown man who's volunteering.
This is the fault of NBA players and college players behaving the way they do and refs not teching them up. Like it's more and more for youth.
Okay.
Number 4, formation of a medium league. And I'm going to become the czar of the medium league.
Okay, here's the deal. In what I know about basketball specifically, the rec league at a certain age becomes like you can get hurt.
Right.
Because there's a lot of kids who want to play for fun, great, but they don't know the rules. And the last few rec games we've done, there's been serious injuries because they're like, yeah.
So a rec league's kind of like a developmental league.
Right. So, but a medium league.
And then the travel league is there.
You do that.
The medium league.
Medium.
And so if you win the medium championship, you're medium.
You're medium.
Still medium, but we
you've had
celebrate,
fun.
but we celebrate medium.
And you're trying and having fun, but you're not like waking up at 7 a.m. to do practice.
Yes. And I think it has to be called
the medium league. Got
it. Number 3, require every parent to sign a code of conduct contract that is enforceable by like your kid losing the ability to play. No yelling at refs, no yelling at kids.
Love it.
No withholding of love. When you're watching your kid
Penn
play.
was coaching a game one time and a parent stormed the court and Penn had to like drag the coach off and stand in between and almost break up the fight.
I was an assistant, so I had to keep him from going after our head coach. Yep.
14-year-olds. Anyway.
Number 2, and I did this with my son, keep stats that have nothing to do with what regular stats are. I call them pen points.
Okay.
So PC was on a team where he wasn't scoring much, and I was like, I don't know, you got a lot of pen points today.
Aww.
And he was like, what are you talking about? Well, so I had, and here's what they were. I gave 2 points for an assist, and it includes when you throw this is basketball, when you throw a really nice pass and the guy doesn't score, you still get an assist for that. 1 point for a hockey assist, which is a pass that leads to a pass.
Oh God.
That leads to a basket.
This is like everybody gets a trophy level.
No, these are points.
Okay.
These are points for hustle.
Okay.
2 points if you dive on the floor and get a loose ball.
Oh, I love that.
1 point if you pick a guy up off the floor.
Okay.
Like when he's falling down. 2 points if you calm down an upset player.
Our son would be the highest scorer.
Why do you think I made this up? Aww. 1 point for a rebound, and then 1 point for a good box out, even if you don't get the rebound.
Okay.
2 points for a steal or if you cause a turnover. 5 points if you're the loudest guy on the bench.
Yes.
If you ever complain to the ref or taunt another player, you lose all your points.
I love it.
That's my pen points.
Okay.
And I looked it back up and that's what it was. And then finally, number 1, you change the starting lineup every week.
Even though sometimes our kid, has started on teams. Yeah.
But I'm just saying you change, they don't have to play the whole game. You change the starting lineup. If you're a football, baseball, but whatever it is, you mix it up every week.
I cannot wait for the comments on this podcast. And I want to know what you all would do as, the leaders of the sports universe. How we can fix this.
Yeah, I want the conversation to continue, and I think so does Greg. So
Laugh Lines is written and produced by Kim Holderness, Penn Holderness, and Anne-Marie Tapke, with original music by Penn Holderness. It's filmed, edited, and live produced, normally by Sam Allen, but today Anne-Marie's in the live production seat.
Let's go. Say what's up, Anne-Marie.
Hello, hello.
There she is.
What up?
How'd you like Greg?
Oh, I really liked it. And my kids are they're not quite at the level, the crazy level, but it felt encouraging to me that they play multiple sports and sometimes those sports help influence each other.
Exactly.
So I'm doing all the right things.
Yes, you are.
Check the box for me.
Check the box. Go, Mom. Our podcast is hosted by Acast. As always, we love to hear from you. Please write to us at podcast@theholdernessfamily.com or leave a voicemail at 323-364-3929. And we'll talk to you soon on the Laugh Line.
Bye.